Hello, dear people. Greetings, curious and highly respected ones. Today I will tell you about a meeting and conversation with my old friend, the ufologist engineer Veselin Boyanov, who shared with me there are many UFO contacts in Bulgaria and more. There is no extraterrestrial ban on traveling to the moon. We were at Hotel Halted in Sozopol, and I asked him, Vesko, what do you think? Just a week ago, people went to the moon and returned, something that hadn't happened for half a century. Why was the new mission, called Artemis II, delayed so much after the last one there, Apollo 17, back in 1972? There are several reasons, economic and political. If we speak from the perspective of conspiracies, it is claimed that the first missions discovered something on the moon that held them back to some extent, and the program was abandoned. Of course, we still have no evidence for that. And until such appears, in my opinion, the main reason remains economic. Simply, the American governments decided to redirect funding elsewhere because they believed no dividends would come from this. In global ufology, however, one question remains: should humans go to the moon and exploit it for resources like helium-3 and other elements, given the theories that there is some kind of presence there, which even astronauts have spoken about? I am a person who relies on facts. Beyond them, we can only make assumptions. If there had been something on the moon that stopped humanity, by which I mean the Americans and the Russians, who had the resources to go there, then even now they would not allow such a mission. Another intelligence, far more advanced than us, visited us long ago. From there, they embedded many things into our development that they deemed necessary. In my opinion, there is no logic in them hiding something on the moon, and now us trying, in some secondary way, to go and uncover it. So, as I mentioned, the reasons are more likely political, because China has advanced significantly technologically, and the Americans cannot afford to fall behind. On the other hand, the boom in technology began shortly after 1947, when, as claimed, an extraterrestrial craft crashed near Roswell. We can only speculate, but it is possible that the Americans extracted technological advantages from that aircraft. Yes, there is definitely at least a temporal coincidence with the rise of technology. The real boom began in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Yes, the theory that quantitative accumulation leads to qualitative change is true, but still, something triggered this process. In this context are also the comments that since that time there has been an agreement between Americans and Russians with another more advanced civilization. There is persistent talk about the civilization of the Greys, which supposedly gave us a kind of cosmic gift. It doesn't even matter which one exactly, because there are many. In return, We have given them something they lacked, whether from the gene pool or something else. We can only guess. Another open question remains. If there was a restriction on traveling to the moon, why has it been lifted now? For me, behind everything stands the rapid progress of China, which is pushing everyone forward in this direction. At the end of March, we organized an international conference in Sofia. Part of my report there was related precisely to statements by well-known ufologists such as Jacques Vallée and the late Vladimir Azaja, according to whom humanity has contacts with beings, or rather an intelligence, that is not material. It influences us in some way on an energetic, spiritual, or other level. There are people on Earth who have the ability to receive this information, and if they work for government structures, this information is passed to them. But you and I can only speculate, because no one would reveal what is really happening. It is also important to consider something else. If suddenly the information that we have contact with another civilization became public, it would have many consequences for the world order, the main one being governance. People would no longer want to obey. On the other hand, there is also the hypothesis that there are embedded beings reptilian, like who, through certain individuals, actually control global processes. Unfortunately, these theories still cannot be proven in the way we ufologists would like Newton's theory, for example. Still, that does not prevent us from voicing them. It has long been said that especially influential figures, scientists or presidents such as China's Jinping, America's Trump, or earlier figures like Bush, are under some kind of non-human control. Such conspiracies exist. I am more of a supporter of strict scientific theses and evidence-based material. The problem for now is that we lack such evidence. You mentioned the ufologist Aja. He once spoke about how the Lunokhod mission sent images of intelligent beings from the moon's surface, and that the moon itself was created by a higher intelligence to stabilize Earth's orbit, thus enabling biological life here. Other experts have also written on the topic of the moon, proposing hypotheses that it is an artificially created satellite. The question remains how this happened and under what natural laws. One thing is certain: nothing is random, not even on Earth. Everything in the universe is interconnected, meaning the laws operate everywhere the same way. Unfortunately, our physics, chemistry, and other sciences have so far studied only the visible universe, what can be touched and measured with our instruments. And how would you comment on the research of astronomer Ivo Busko, a former NASA employee who discovered UFOs while studying mysterious short light flashes captured in archival images from the 1950s? First, let's clarify what the abbreviation UFO means: unidentified flying object. That is, anything that cannot be identified falls into this category. In fact, in this case, these could be rare natural phenomena or manifestations of laws we do not yet understand. These photos were taken at a time when technology was less advanced, and what was captured on film is difficult to analyze. Today, the situation is different. It is easier and faster to capture and document UFOs, but many people also speculate. That is why when we ufologists encounter such testimonies and materials, it is difficult to determine whether they are authentic. Things can be quite misleading. Yes, today with artificial intelligence, everything can be fabricated as an image, right? When material is given to me for analysis, I rely on the assumption that the people involved are acting in good faith and providing the information as they know it. Otherwise, consciously or not, they mislead us as well. Have you recently received information about UFOs in Bulgaria? Constantly. Last month, someone from Sofia wrote to me about a photo he took of an object he observed over Vitosha. We haven't fully analyzed it yet, but we will soon. Some time ago, there was also information about objects in the atmosphere resembling jellyfish, but whether these so-called jellyfish-like phenomena are beings or craft remains unclear. We are talking about structures appearing in the upper layers of the atmosphere. They were recorded with an ordinary phone, but beyond that, we cannot conduct a more serious analysis. In another case last year, tourists saw objects over Vitosha resembling drones, but it turned out they were something else. The devices were flying at night. Our representative later went to the site. The witnesses turned out to be serious people, mountaineers, who had no motive to mislead us. They were so impressed by the UFOs that they were even frightened. Based on other information we have from previous years, it can be assumed that these flying devices use water as a power source. Why? Because the observation was near a lake. Now, whether this is true we cannot be 100% certain, but it is a fact that this was not imagination, but a real event that occurred. Are there contacts on the territory of Bulgaria, either with UFOs or directly with extraterrestrial beings? There are many such contacts. Years ago, we organized a serious expedition in the Dobrich region. About 20 kilometers southwest of the city lies the village of Karapelit. Interestingly, there were many UFO sightings there in the past, including close encounters of the third kind. One such case occurred in 1989. A mother and her son lived in the center of the village. Around midnight, they sensed something flying over their house. The mother told her son, who was still a student, "Get dressed. Let's go outside and see what's happening." They went into the backyard, and near the fence they saw a silhouette about 40 centimeters tall. They had flashlights. When they shone the light at it, The strange thing was that the objects or being responded with flashes of light. They shone at it. It responded. They did not dare approach further. After deciding they had enough contact, they went back inside. The next day, they saw some kind of footprint at the spot. After this incident, the mother developed supernatural abilities, which she attributed to the encounter. There are other sightings in the same village. A shepherd, while grazing his flock, noticed an object circling above him at dusk. At one point, it descended toward the road. The man was not afraid and simply observed. 2 cars approached each other on the road. The UFO rose, and after they passed, it reappeared and hovered about 400 meters to a kilometer above the area. Eventually, it flew west. Interestingly, animals usually sense UFO presence, but in this case, the flock did not react at all. Similar to the case of Sarachina, where locals have told me similar stories. Have you studied the site where the military conducted secret excavations in the 1990s in search of extraterrestrial remains? I have been there on ufological expeditions in 1994 and 1995, and I have recorded a lot of information. In short, what we established is that after the military began digging, these phenomena intensified. If they existed before, they were less frequent and largely ignored by locals. Even while we were there were manifestations. Strange lights appeared in the sky. Many people claim they have experienced contact or abduction but lack memories, and later recall details under hypnosis. What is your view? Everything is possible. There is a book by Bud Hopkins, who studied many such cases. However, this method is controversial because it cannot fully prove whether the events were real or occurred on some energetic level. That is, it is unclear whether the encounters were physical or only mental telepathic experiences. In most cases, we do have a fact. The person experienced something, but what exactly happened is hard to prove. At the end of March, an international conference, UFO: The Challenge of the New Age, was held in Sofia, in which you participated. What topics were discussed? We invited various speakers, some joining via video from abroad. One topic was retrieving information through hypnosis. Australian Mary Rodwell has worked in over 3,500 such cases. She founded an organization supporting individuals and families with experiences involving non-physical or non-human intelligences. Geophysicist Prof. Boyko Rangelov spoke about paleo artifacts in Bulgaria. From the USA, Ivan Ivanov participated, a UFO witness and founder of a ufology project. Among the speakers was also Prof. Stoyan Sargoychev, who worked for many years in a laboratory in Canada. His work is strongly science-based. Another participant was a woman from the UK known by the pseudonym Azria, who specializes in retrieving information about energetic level contacts. Finally, let me ask, How close is humanity to official contact with intelligent beings from space, or even from Earth? As some theories suggest, we share the planet with other civilizations. They have appeared many times in the past. During the time of the Sumerians, there are even older theories suggesting extraterrestrials came here and created offspring with local individuals, an experiment that resulted in Homo sapiens. In modern times, I do not believe they will reveal themselves to us, especially if it is true that there is some interaction with them at high governmental levels. If they observe and control us in some way, there is no logic or need for them to reveal themselves, at least not at this stage.